U.S. President Trump in an NBC Meet the Press interview with host Kristen Welker refused to drop tariffs to bring China to a trade talk, stating, no, when asked if he would ever lower them, and adding, at some point, I'm going to lower them because otherwise you would never do business with them. He claimed China's getting killed right now with their factories closing and unemployment going through the roof, asserting his tariffs are devastating China's economy. Trump defended his tariff strategy, arguing it benefits large industries, telling Welker the car industry are going to make a fortune, and citing multi-billion-dollar investment from companies like Toyota, Honda, General Motors, Stellantis, and Apple to build U.S. plants. Is this the one, Rob, that we're talking about?
Yes. So it's separated into two clips. The first clip is him talking about not lowering the tariffs. The second one is him talking about the benefits on the auto industry. Which one would you prefer?
Play both of them.
Okay.
Play both of them.
Here's the first one.
You're not dropping the tariffs against China to get them to the negotiating table. Those tariffs are staying on.
Why would I do
Would
that?
you lower them?
At some point, I'm going to lower them because otherwise you could never do business with them.
Yeah.
And they want to do business very much. Look, their economy is really doing badly. Their economy is collapsing.
And here's the auto tariffs.
So small businesses say they are being hurt by the Chinese tariffs, and some could be forced to shut
And
down.
many businesses are being helped.
Are you
Look at the
considering
automobile
tariff
business.
relief for small businesses?
Why do you always mention that, you pick up a couple of little businesses? What about the car business? They're going to make a fortune because of the tariffs. Do you know that the union, the head of the union, who was no fan of mine, Sean Fain, I guess his name is, right? He didn't endorse me. The Teamsters did. A lot of people did. A lot of unions did. But he didn't. He couldn't stand me. Now he's saying, wow, what Trump's done for the automobile, I can't believe it. I assume he's going to probably now say, the next thing he can say is, I endorse this guy. He's the greatest I've ever seen. He can't believe it's happened. He said, we've been waiting 40 years for somebody to do what Trump is doing. So why don't you mention the big car industry instead of mentioning somebody that's doing strollers?
Well, I'm just asking you about small businesses. Are there any discussions about giving any relief to small businesses?
They're not going to need it.
Okay.
They're going to make so much money.
Are these tariffs?
If you build your product here. Remember, there are no tariffs if you build your product here. It's very easy. It's very simple.
Pause right there. Tom, thoughts?
Well, one thing the president's really right about, and the mainstream media is not talking about it, but I found an article in the Wall Street Journal, and there's a couple writers for the Journal that I happen to like. One of them I like because of the quality of his work, and he's very numbers-oriented. So they pointed out, how bad is China's economy? Well, in the fourth quarter of 23, they suddenly stopped releasing data on certain things. For instance, I'll show you this. China's unemployment for ages 16 to 24. We see here, there it is. Keep going, Rob. Rob's got the article. Fantastic. Unemployment, keep one more, so people can see it. No, that's not sale. One more. There it is. Watch this, Pat. So the unemployment rate for people 16 to 24, China is releasing it. Adam, look at this. Tell me what you think. All of a sudden, the data stops toward the end, in the middle of 2023. Why does it stop? It stops because the line was crossing 20%. The unemployment rate for people 16 to 24 in China is over 20%. And similarly, they showed the number of people in urban areas who are receiving China's equivalent of unemployment benefits. You can go one more chart there. One more chart. No, go back up. Well, he's getting that unemployment benefits. One more there.
Right there. Unemployed insurance benefits.
That's it. All of a sudden, the number of people is heading toward 3 million. Look at those numbers going up. That's the effect that the rest of the world had on COVID when they couldn't buy stuff and they were locked up. So China is suppressing its stats so that the rest of the world cannot see what's going on. And Trump is correct that the Chinese economy, specifically the real estate industry and unemployment among the youth and people getting welfare in big cities is rising. Unemployment is now over 20% for those people 16 to 24. So Trump is correct. China's economy is in a tough spot. However, when you have a government that really doesn't care about its people and a government says, oh, we're playing the long game includes incredible misery and hardship on the inside of its country, and yet it doesn't let everybody see it. And thank you to the Wall Street Journal for digging up all this stuff where the data stops. They stop releasing data to the rest of the world, so it cannot be used to negotiate with them or against them. But it's bad.
Adam.
So the question is what? Should we decouple from China? Are these tariffs working? Are there reciprocal tariffs working? We imposed 140%. I think they hit back at 125%. Is the question whether this is a good deal or a bad deal? I guess what's the question that we're solving for right now?
Well, Trump said China's economy was in trouble, and if you make point one, point two, he said the American auto industry, including the unions, are going to thank him. And I think Ford CEO Jim Farley was already saying, hey, I may have to update my my guidance for the year and my revenue and my profit, but I make more here than anybody else. And I think we're ultimately going to be a win. And then the unions allegedly have now come out and said, you know, this does help our union workers.
Are you really asking what is the question?
So I'm trying to
After
understand.
a minute and a half us talking about it, you're saying, what's the question?
That's not what I asked.
We just said, so Trump says he will not drop tariffs to come to get China to the negotiating table. If you have thoughts, if you want us to clarify it, it's what do you think about it? Is that a good strategy? Will China come to the table? Should U.S. lower the tariffs to go to the... What are your thoughts? If you don't have thoughts, you don't have thoughts.
That's not what
I'll
I
give
said.
my
I do
thoughts
have
on this.
thoughts. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so go ahead.
All
What are
right.
your thoughts on it?
There was multiple points here that he made.
Then
so I
make
wanted
your-
to know,
just
okay,
give your
I
feedback
will,
on all
I
of them.
will. Okay, so I mean, before you ask me what's my point, I wanted you to know what you think I should talk about. But the point is, I think China is going to not come to the table anytime soon. Why? Because they have no problem treating their people like absolute crap, and they're preparing their people for winter. They're basically saying, Game of Thrones style, winter is coming. We have no plans of negotiating with the U.S. anytime soon. Why? Because Trump is going to be out of office in the next 4 years. Who knows if he's doing his 2028 song and dance? Doubt it. When is Xi's term up? Never. So we need to be prepared in the United States for Xi to be here for a long time and for these Chinese tariffs to basically have to be dealt with now. At the same time, I'm not defending Chinese tariffs. China needs to be dealt with. They're stealing everything, intellectual IP theft. They're deflating their currency. They need to be dealt with. Everything that happened during COVID, I'm no fan of what's going on in China. But we have 4-year terms and they've got lifetime terms. So, you know, there's something called made in America. What percentage of products are made in America versus made around the world? 10% of products are apparently made in America versus 90% of sourced products come from around the world. So if we think we're just going to flip a switch and just everything's going to get made in America real quickly, I doubt that. China, 10 years ago, had a mantra. You know this, PBD. It was called what? Made in China 2025. What freaking year are we in? 2025. China's been preparing for this trade war for over a decade. So is Trump right in taking on China? Yes. Do I think this is going to be an easy battle and China is just going to bow to the United States? Highly doubt that. That's my point.
Vinny.
I just, you know what it reminds me of? You know what China reminds me of? Remember Maximus in the end of Gladiator, where Commodus, Joaquin Phoenix stabs him, but he's out there and he's still fighting, and you don't know that he's been stabbed, and he's acting like everything's okay. That's China right now. Tom, you just named everything that's happening with them. Everything's falling apart, but they're up there and they're acting tough. I think to fight, Adam, to go against that beast that you're talking about, that empire, we don't hold back. You go 100%, because at the end of the day, it's a trade war. We're at war with these people, and we don't let up on them. If we're going to have that adjustment, Pat, that's what we have to do.
Tom.
Well, Adam, China has backed down, like ethane, which is a petrochemical, which leads to the production of plastic. They dropped their 125% tariff, and then when questioned by Reuters, they said the official declined the comment due to the sensitivity of the matter.
Yeah.
So why did they go from 125% tariff on ethane down to zero? Because they had to. It's a blink. But they won't talk about it, and it was not announced publicly. It happened over a weekend. Gee, why would it happen over a weekend, Adam? It's because they don't want the U.S. They don't want CNBC to pick up on it. So they're starting to blink in little ways. Are they formidable? Am I worried about things that they could do? Damn right I am. But they are blinking, and their internal economy sucks.
Here's the thing, that they both have a very strategic mindset, but a dark mindset. Let me explain. Imagine you have a leader's bulletin where you're playing a game of football, okay? And one team, you know the score. The other team, you don't know the score. So it's like, okay, how bad are they doing? We don't know. One team's got 28 points. Are they ahead? No, we don't know. We don't know what the other team is doing. Can we know their score? No. Why? Because it's not being reported. What do you mean we can't know the score of where they're at? We're just not reporting it. Okay, so what's the benefit about being a private company versus a public company? What happens when you're a publicly traded company? Everybody knows everything that's going on with the company. You have to report it. You took public money. So a publicly traded company, there's conference calls that you can jump on, shareholder conference calls, and they'll say, here's what's going on. The CEO will talk. Maybe the CFO will talk, and they'll tell you why their numbers are lower, the expectation for Q2 and all this other. America is a publicly traded company. China is a private company, which means what data do we have of China? Whatever they tell us. If they don't tell us anything, what do we know about them? We know nothing. So China can say, how are things? Oh, we're killing it. Yeah, you're killing the job market. Yeah, you're killing the job market for the youth. But guess what? Our social media companies are not there, so we can't get the videos. Their social media companies are not here, so we don't know what they're reporting on. You know, they can't communicate with us. Their people can't communicate out to release anything that's going on with them, or else they can get arrested. Any of that data, and if Jack Ma used to be a guy that we used to watch every week, there was something on Jack Ma. Jack Ma just said this. Jack Ma just said this. When's the last time you heard anything from Jack Ma?
Nothing.
Why would he?
2020.
See, that's the thing with China.
He was on vacation.
China will if God forbid you leak anything, like, loose lips. You know the mob side that loose lips sink ships? In China, if you have loose lips, you go and disappear.
Oh, yeah.
You disappear. Your wealth disappears. Everything disappears. So what's the point? We have to believe whatever they tell us. What's your unemployment rate? Our unemployment rate's been 0.2%. Everybody has a job. They're all doing well. Says who? Says we. Oh, who comes up with the report? Who audited it? Nobody. Us, the Chinese government. Oh, so we have to believe it. Oh, our economy is on fire. It's so good. Yeah, it's on fire, but the bad kind of fire, not the good kind of fire, right? So that's the part that we don't know. Next week is Armed Forces Day, and we're celebrating folks who were in the military. I was in the Army. Vinny here was in the Air Force. And so we came out with these ads simply because of a lot of people. Right?
In this explosive video from the Valuetainment channel, Patrick Bet David dives into the escalating tariff war between Trump and Xi Jinping with the provocative title, China Blinked. Trump's tariff war pressures, Xi to cave as China's economy tanks. Patrick Bet David, founder of Valuetainment, examines how U.S. tariffs of up to 245% are crippling China's economy, which is grappling with a financial crisis marked by stock market plunges and rising unemployment. Patrick Bet David notes that despite China's retaliatory 125% tariffs, exemptions on electronics suggest a possible retreat, as analysts claim. With his entrepreneurial insight, Patrick B.T. David ties the global turmoil to financial resilience, sharing strategies to safeguard your prosperity in uncertain times. Watch and learn from Patrick B.T. David how to navigate this economic crisis in 2025. What you'll learn from Patrick B.T. David. How the Tariff War Impacts the Global Economy by Patrick B.T. David. Tips to maintain your prosperity during crises with Patrick B.T. David. The effects of Trump and Xi's policies on your life per Patrick Bet David. Action. Drop a like if Patrick Bet David sparked your thinking. Share with those seeking financial stability, and subscribe to Valuetainment for more powerful analyses. Comment. Which strategy from Patrick Bet David will you use to protect your prosperity? Face the crisis head-on. Learn from Patrick Bet David on Valuetainment now. Patrick Bet David, Valuetainment, Tariff War, Economic Crisis, Prosperity, Trump v. Xi.